Hello, so in this video we're going to be talking more about how to configure the outgoing email server. A lot of people have asked me about that, and so I thought I would create a video just for that. So in my case, I have already set up my Workspace account with Google, and so it is up and running. But if you haven't done that, it's really easy. You just go through like through the steps of you just search in Google Workspace, and then just you can try it out for like 14 days, and then it's gonna ask you for the domain that you're gonna be using for your email. If you don't have one, you can buy one from them directly. I was already using uh, GoDaddy, so I used that, and it's pretty simple. It just asks you to make sure that that you are the owner of that domain, so it asks you to verify that. And then after that, it is going to ask you to create your users, and then you have users that have that domain. So for instance, user1 at that domain.com, like your domain.com. For me, I said this one, so I'm the admin, and this is the email that I'm using, and this is my domain for my company. So that is pretty straightforward. There is not it's not very complicated, but now I want to focus on how to set up the outgoing email server in Odoo. Okay, and we're assuming my email server that I'm using Google for that. So the first step is there is a documentation about it. So I'll post it on the link below the video. But the idea is that you go to this link, and then you are right now the admin here. So you're in your console, and then you're gonna access that that specific site, and then you're gonna look for second step verification. So you arrive here. So the first step is just allow users to turn on second step verification. That's it. Leave the enforcement as off. That's all you gotta do. Now, this is the email for the console, right? But at the same time, we know that we have a separate like Gmail account. So we have the console account, and then we have the actual Gmail account where I receive emails. So we are gonna access the Gmail account. So now in guest tab, like is completely a guest window is completely different from the one that I was in, just because I don't want to, I don't want to combine the two of them. And then the next thing, once I'm logged in here, I'm gonna access this link, the second link that I'm gonna, and the short link for this page is this one. Okay, so now I enter here, and I say get started, and get started. It asks me for my password, and then you go through the motions, and then it's gonna ask you to enter your phone number, and then you have a choice between selecting for Google to send you a code via text, or they can call you. There are other methods as well. And then after that, you enter the code, and then you're good to go. So you have enabled that for yourself because you are like the admin of everything. So it's important that you do that. And then after that, we're gonna go back to the console. And now at this point in time, we are now gonna say on, enforcement on. We are gonna allow the maximum for new user enrollment because we don't want to block users at all. So like I recommend you read the documentation about how to handle this second step verification. But again, I'm focusing more on the Odoo side than the Google side. But just so you know, for safety reasons, it's better to put 6 months. And remember that you do have to enroll um, before that, otherwise you will lock out your users. So just be aware of that and save that. So I have already done that, so I have saved that. And then the next thing is we are gonna go to this link. So I'll show it again. Okay. And then at this point, I have already created a password. I'm gonna delete it for now so that I can create a brand new one. So you're gonna select other and I'm gonna call it Odoo. What we're doing here is really saying, because Gmail or Google doesn't like other third parties to be connecting to it to Google, it blocks them. So when we try from Odoo to send the email through Google, it's gonna be like, wait, I'm not, Google is not actually sending this email. There isn't another application trying to send the email on behalf of Google, which is problematic, right? Like it looks very suspicious. So it will block it and you will get errors in Odoo when you set up your outgoing email server. So this is like the best way so that you create a password just for Odoo. So Google knows, hey, Odoo is trying to get connected and I'm going to allow it because the password is specifically for Odoo. It's not just for the user that I created here. I'm going to copy this. It's not for this user because that has its own password. Odoo has its own password here. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Odoo now. Perfect. And now we are gonna come here and I'm gonna access. All right, so at this point, what I'm gonna do is go to settings, activate the developer mode. I have already done that, so I'm just gonna go technical and then I'm gonna say outgoing mail servers. And if you look at the documentation, Odoo already has this information. It says the SMPT server for Gmail, the port, the connection security, and everything. So I was using another one for this. So I'm gonna delete that and replace it. Okay, and I'm gonna use the password that was given. All right, and I'm gonna save that. Okay, and if you wanna double check that info, just go Odoo email servers. And so it has some information here. So here you can see the outgoing. It has the same information. And now we're gonna test the connection. And now everything is working well. Now, my recommendation is make sure this username that you create, which is generic, so that, I mean, it represents the company because every single email is going to be sent out through this. So when it arrives, it's going to say the name of the user. So if we look at users, we're going to say, okay, Vivian. And then here, the email, so it's going to arrive like Vivian, and then it's going to have the outgoing, this email. So Vivian, and then you'll have this email. So just make sure that this is generic enough for your company, and then you just use this one, and now we can test it out. All right, so I'm gonna send it to this email. It's probably gonna ask me the email. Now let me go to email. Oops. KAB. And then you see it here. So it has arrived. So that's all you have to do. Thank you.